When the cell door opens and Nathan steps into the cold morning air, Hudson changes forever. The man everyone thought was gone for good has returned not as a villain in chains, but as a free man with unfinished business. Ty knows this freedom isn't justice. It's a ticking time bomb. And deep down, he fears that when it explodes, it'll take everything he loves with it, including Amy. The news spreads through Hudson like wildfire. Nathan Grant, the man blamed for the fire that nearly cost Ty his life, has been released. Not because he was proven innocent, but because there wasn't enough evidence to keep him behind bars. The courthouse doors creak open, and there he stands, quiet, calm, and unreadable. For a moment, it feels like the whole town stops breathing. At Heartland, Amy's face turns pale as she hears the news from Jack. Her hands tremble while she brushes Spartan's mane, her mind racing through all the memories of Nathan's last visit, the anger, the shouting, the danger. Jack's voice breaks through her thoughts. "He's out, Amy, but I don't want you worrying about it." Yet his tone betrays his own unease. Jack Bartlett may have seen storms before, but this one feels different, personal. Ty stands near the barn, staring at the horizon. The wind hits his face, carrying the sound of distant hooves and memories he wishes he could forget. He doesn't say a word when Amy approaches him. She senses something deeper in his silence, not fear, but guilt. It's like there's a wall between them, made of secrets neither one is ready to face. When Amy finally speaks, her voice cracks. "Ty, you're not saying anything. Doesn't this scare you?" He turns to her, eyes dark and tired. "It's not fear, Amy. It's knowing what comes next." Later that night, the ranch feels heavier than usual. The animals are restless. The air feels thicker. Amy looks out from the porch and sees Ty sitting alone by the truck, staring into nothing. Inside the house, Lisa watches quietly, whispering to Jack. He's hiding something. Jack nods, though he already knows. Ty's been off ever since Nathan's name first came up months ago. Something happened between them, something Ty never told anyone. In town, people whisper. Some say Nathan's been given a second chance. Others think it's a mistake that'll cost them all. Hudson's quiet streets suddenly feel unsafe again. But Nathan doesn't care about the rumors. He's seen walking down Main Street with that same cold confidence, the kind that makes you wonder what he's planning. And when he passes Ty's old clinic, he pauses, looks through the window, and smirks. It's not a friendly smile. It's a warning. Back at Heartland, Amy finally joins Ty outside. The wind picks up, and the night grows colder. She sits beside him, her voice soft but steady. "We'll get through this. We always do." Ty doesn't answer right away. He knows Amy believes that, but he also knows the truth this time. The storm isn't coming for them. It's coming from him, and somewhere in the dark, Nathan's shadow stretches closer to Heartland. Whatever happened between these two men, it isn't over. Not yet. Sleep refuses to come to Ty that night. The sound of the wind outside feels louder than usual, scraping against the windows like whispers he can't silence. He sits alone in the barn, the faint glow of a lantern painting shadows across his face. His hands tremble slightly as he runs them through the straw, his mind replaying a moment he's tried for months to bury, that night with Nathan. The argument, the fear, the flash of anger that ended in silence. Every detail echoes in his memory like an open wound that refuses to heal. Ty has always been the steady one, calm, patient, the man who fixes things. But now, even he can't fix what's broken inside. Guilt has its own weight, heavier than any saddle, and he's been carrying it alone. He remembers the look in Nathan's eyes that night. Not hate, not rage, but pain. The kind of pain that turns good men into ghosts of themselves. And Ty can't shake the feeling that maybe, just maybe, he pushed too far. Maybe he's the reason Nathan's life unraveled. When dawn breaks, Amy finds Ty in the same spot, still sitting there, still lost in his thoughts. She reaches out, placing her hand gently on his shoulder. He flinches, not because of her touch, but because it drags him back to the present. "You didn't come to bed," she says softly. He forces a small smile, one that doesn't reach his eyes. "Couldn't sleep," he answers. Amy studies him for a moment, her heart twisting. She knows that look. It's the same one he had when he first came back from Mongolia, Haunted by things he couldn't say. As the day goes on, Ty throws himself into work, fixing fences, checking on the horses, anything to stay busy. But no matter how much he tries to distract himself, his thoughts keep circling back to Nathan. Every sound, every face in town reminds him that Nathan's out there free, breathing, walking through the same streets as Amy and Lindy. The fear isn't that Nathan will come after them. It's that Ty's secret will. Later that afternoon, Jack joins him by the paddock. "You've been out here all day," Jack says, his voice calm but firm. Ty shrugs, eyes focused on the horizon. "Just keeping busy." Jack narrows his eyes. He's seen this before, a man hiding behind his work. "You can't outrun the past, Ty," he says quietly. Ty doesn't answer. He can't, because Jack's right. Every step he takes feels like walking on thin ice, and with Nathan back in Hudson, that ice is beginning to crack. That night, as the stars shimmer above Heartland, Ty walks to the riverbank, the place where everything started. The cool air hits his skin, and the truth hits even harder. He whispers to himself, "I never meant for it to go that far." His voice breaks. Somewhere deep down, he knows the only way to end this is to face it. But facing it means destroying everything he's built, his family, his peace, his future. Behind him, the wind carries a faint sound, footsteps. He turns, heart racing, half expecting Nathan to be standing there. But there's no one, just the darkness and the sound of his own guilt following him home. Ty walks back toward the barn, shoulders heavy, eyes burning. He knows the time for silence is running out, because Nathan isn't the only one who's been set free. Ty's secret, the one he's kept buried, is starting to break loose too. The morning after Nathan's release feels different. The light over Heartland is softer, but somehow colder, as if the land itself senses something isn't right. Amy stands by the barn doors, watching Ty saddle Spartan. His movements are automatic, almost robotic, like a man who's working to silence a noise only he can hear. She doesn't say a word at first. She just watches the way his jaw tightens, the way he avoids her eyes. It's in those small things that Amy feels it. Ty isn't just worried, he's hiding something. Later that day, Amy heads into town to pick up supplies. But when she walks into Maggie's, the chatter stops. Everyone's talking about Nathan, how he's been seen near the old road, how he's been asking questions about Heartland. Amy keeps her calm, but her heart pounds faster. If Nathan's looking for something or someone, it can only mean trouble. And when she spots him through the window, standing across the street, his eyes lock with hers for just a second. That single glance chills her to the bone. Nathan doesn't smile, doesn't wave. He just nods, as if to say, "You'll understand." Soon enough, back at the ranch, Amy finds Ty in the office, sorting through papers. His hands shake slightly as he slides a folder into the bottom drawer, a movement so quick she almost misses it. When she asks what he's working on, his voice falters. "Just bills." You know how it piles up. But Amy isn't convinced. She's lived through too many storms with Ty to mistake fear for exhaustion. That night, when Ty finally falls asleep, Amy quietly walks back to the office. The moonlight spills through the window as she opens that bottom drawer. Inside, not bills, not papers, but a file marked Nathan Grant Incident Report. Her breath catches. Why would Ty have that? She opens the folder, her hands trembling. Inside are printed reports, photos, and one small note in Ty's handwriting. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. Amy's eyes fill with tears. She doesn't understand it all, but she knows enough to feel the truth pressing down on her chest. Ty's connection to Nathan goes far deeper than he ever said. Maybe Nathan wasn't just a threat. Maybe he was a victim of something Ty's been carrying alone. When Ty wakes up later and sees Amy sitting silently by the window, he knows. She doesn't say a word, but her eyes do all the talking. "How long were you going to keep this from me?" she finally whispers. The pain in her voice cuts through him sharper than any blade. He tries to speak, to explain, but the words collapse under the weight of what he's done. "I was trying to protect you," he says. But Amy shakes her head. "Protect me from the truth, or protect yourself from it?" The distance between them feels endless. Outside, the wind howls through the trees, carrying the echoes of things left unsaid. Amy turns away, wiping her tears before Ty can see them. "I stood by you through everything," she says, her voice trembling. "But I can't stand by a lie." Ty reaches out, but she pulls away. The truth is coming, and they both know it. Nathan's release didn't just reopen an old wound, it tore it wide open. And now, Amy's standing in the middle of the storm. Ty tried so hard to keep her out of as Amy walks out into the night. Her footsteps echo across the quiet ranch. Somewhere in the distance, a horse neighs uneasy, restless like it too, can feel the truth closing in. Ty watches her leave, and for the first time, he realizes something far worse than losing his freedom. He's about to lose her trust. The morning mist rolls over the Heartland fields, calm and beautiful, but beneath that stillness, something dark is stirring. Amy stands on the porch, arms wrapped around herself, watching the sunrise through the fog. Every sunrise used to mean hope. Now it feels like a warning. She hasn't spoken much to Ty since last night. His secret sits between them like an invisible wall, too painful to ignore, too dangerous to confront again. But that silence shatters when a familiar truck pulls up the long dirt road. It's Nathan. The sound of tires crunching gravel grabs everyone's attention. Jack steps out of the barn, his expression hardening the moment he sees who it is. Nathan gets out slowly, his boots hitting the ground with quiet confidence. There's no apology in his eyes. No anger either, just something unreadable. "Morning," he says, voice calm but cold. The tension in the air thickens instantly. Amy's pulse quickens as Ty appears at the doorway, his face draining of color. He wasn't ready for this, not yet. Nathan's gaze locks onto Ty. "Been a long time," he says, almost casually. Ty nods slightly but says nothing. Jack takes a step forward, voice steady but firm. "You've got no business here, Nathan." But Nathan doesn't even look at him. His eyes stay fixed on Ty. "Oh, I think I do," he replies. "I came to finish what we started." The words hang in the air like a blade. Amy looks between them, confused, frightened. "What is he talking about, Ty?" she asks. Ty doesn't answer. His silence says more than any confession ever could. Nathan walks closer, slow and deliberate. "You remember that night, don't you?" he says. "The fire, the shouting, and the deal we made before it all went wrong." Ty clenches his fists. "Enough, Nathan." But Nathan only smirks. "No, not enough. You left me to take the blame. You got your happy ending, your family, your peace, while I sat behind bars for something we did." The words hit Amy like a punch to the chest. Her voice breaks. "Ty, what does he mean, we?" Ty steps forward, voice low but shaking. "Nathan, stop." Nathan tilts his head, his tone turning darker. "You think you can bury the truth forever? I kept your secret, Ty, but don't forget I was there too. And if I go down again, I'm not going alone." His eyes narrow, and for the first time, fear flickers across Ty's face. The secret he's spent years hiding is unraveling in front of the people he loves most. Jack steps between them. "You need to leave," he warns. Nathan hesitates, then gives a cold, quiet laugh. "I'm not your enemy, Jack, but the truth always comes out even in a place like Heartland." With that, he turns and walks back to his truck, leaving behind more questions than answers. The engine starts, the gravel spits, and in moments, he's gone, but the storm he brought with him stays. Amy turns to Ty, eyes filled with betrayal and heartbreak. "What did you do?" she whispers. Ty looks down, his voice barely audible. "I thought I was protecting you, but I was only protecting myself." His words break something inside her. She steps back, tears falling silently. "You should have trusted me," she says. "We could have faced it together." The wind picks up as Nathan's truck disappears into the distance, carrying the weight of a truth that can no longer be buried. The fields that once felt safe now hold echoes of secrets, lies, and choices that can't be undone. Ty stands alone in the yard, watching the horizon, knowing that Nathan's return isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of his reckoning. The night is heavy with silence, the kind that seeps into your bones and makes the air hard to breathe. Inside the barn, Ty stands alone, his shadow long and trembling against the wooden walls. The lantern beside him flickers, casting an unsteady glow that mirrors the storm inside him. Every sound, the creak of the rafters, the soft rustle of straw, feels like a voice whispering one word he can no longer avoid: confess. He stares at the photo of Amy and Lindy tacked to the beam. Their smiles are pure, untouched by the darkness he's carried for so long. His chest tightens. He remembers that night vividly, the fire, the shouting, the fear. Nathan wasn't the villain everyone made him out to be. He was desperate, cornered, and Ty made a choice that saved one life but ruined another. That's the truth that's been burning in his heart since the moment Nathan was taken away. Ty wanted to protect his family, but the cost was too high. He let another man bear the weight of a crime that wasn't entirely his. The barn door creaks open. Amy steps inside, her eyes red but steady. She's been crying, but she's no longer angry, just waiting. Ty turns slowly, meeting her gaze, and for a moment neither of them speaks. The silence between them says everything. "I can't live like this anymore," he finally says, voice cracking. "I thought I was doing the right thing, Amy. I thought I was keeping you safe. But I've been lying to you, to everyone, to myself." Amy walks closer, her voice trembling but strong. "Then tell me the truth, Ty. All of it." He nods, his eyes glistening with regret. "That night, Nathan didn't start the fire. I did, but it wasn't on purpose. We were arguing. Things got heated, and when he pushed me, I pushed back. The lantern fell. Everything happened so fast." His words spill out like a flood, years of guilt rushing to the surface. "Nathan tried to help me put it out. He stayed, even when he could have run. But when the cops came, I panicked. I told them he was responsible. He took the blame for me and I let him." Amy covers her mouth, tears streaming down her cheeks. The barn feels smaller now, the truth pressing in on them from all sides. Ty's voice grows softer. "I wanted to confess. I almost did. But then you were pregnant with Lindy, and I couldn't risk losing everything. Every day since, I've told myself I'd make it right. But I never did. And now Nathan's back, and I can't hide anymore." For a long moment, Amy says nothing. Her heart aches, but behind the pain is understanding. She steps forward, placing her hand gently over his. "You made a terrible mistake, Ty, but you're not the man who did that anymore. The only way to make it right now is to tell the truth." Ty nods slowly, tears blurring his vision. "I know, and I will." Amy leans into him, her voice breaking. "We'll face it together." Outside, the wind howls across the fields, carrying away the last traces of silence. Ty steps out of the barn and looks toward the horizon, the first light of dawn breaking over Heartland. For the first time in years, he feels the weight lifting, not gone, but lighter, because now he's ready to face whatever comes next. As the sun rises, Ty whispers to himself, "The truth doesn't destroy you. It sets you free." And somewhere out there, Nathan hears those words too, a sign that the past, no matter how dark, can finally find its way into the light. The morning after Ty's confession, Heartland feels quieter, not peaceful, but different. The kind of silence that comes after a storm has passed, when the air is heavy yet strangely calm. The sun stretches over the golden fields, glinting off the dew, touching everything with a light that feels like forgiveness. For the first time in a long while, Ty breathes without the weight of lies pressing on his chest. But freedom doesn't erase the past, it only makes the next step harder. Ty sits on the porch, his coffee untouched, watching the horses graze in the distance. He knows what he has to do. Across from him, Amy stands near the railing, her face still pale but softer than last night. There's pain in her eyes, yes, but also strength. She's been through heartbreak before, but this time it's different. This time, it's about choosing between resentment and healing. "Are you sure you want to do this?" she asks quietly. Ty nods. "I owe him that much." Later that day, Ty drives into Hudson alone. The town feels smaller somehow, every familiar corner carrying memories he once avoided. When he stops outside Nathan's old cabin, he hesitates for a moment before stepping out. The air smells like pine and rain, the same as that night years ago. Nathan's there, standing by the porch, arms crossed, as if he's been waiting. "Didn't think you'd come," Nathan says, voice low. Ty looks him in the eye. "I should have come a long time ago." The tension between them is thick, but there's no anger now, just exhaustion. Two men tired of running from the same ghost. Ty takes a breath. "I told Amy, I told Jack, I'm going to the sheriff next. I'm not hiding anymore." Nathan studies him, eyes hard at first, then softening. You think that'll fix it? Ty shakes his head. No, but it's the truth. And maybe that's a start. For a long moment, neither speaks. Then Nathan nods, his voice breaking just a little. You were young, scared. We both were. A pause. You do what you need to do, Ty. Maybe we both deserve some peace. As Ty drives back to Heartland, the sky opens up in streaks of orange and gold. The world looks the same, but everything feels new. When he pulls into the ranch, Amy and Lindy are waiting by the fence. Lindy runs toward him, her laughter cutting through the fading light. He lifts her up, holding her close, and, for the first time in years, he doesn't feel unworthy of her love. Amy walks up behind him and slips her hand into his. No words, just quiet understanding. The hardest truth has been spoken, and somehow, it didn't destroy them. It rebuilt them. That evening, as the family gathers for dinner, Jack raises his glass to second chances, he says, because sometimes the right thing takes a lifetime to find. The table falls silent for a beat. Then everyone clinks glasses. Outside, the horses move gently under the fading sun, and the world feels lighter again. Sometimes the hardest battles aren't fought with fists or fury, they're fought in silence, within the heart. Ty's journey wasn't about good or evil, guilt or innocence. It was about truth, the one thing he spent years running from. And when that truth finally came to light, it didn't destroy him, it freed him. Because sometimes, the only way to heal the past is to face it. No matter how much it hurts. Days pass at Heartland, but the air feels lighter now. Ty still carries the weight of what he did, but it no longer controls him. He's rebuilding, not just his trust with Amy, but his own peace. Their love, once bruised by secrets, is growing stronger in honesty. Amy has learned that love doesn't mean perfection, it means standing beside someone even when their world falls apart. And in her eyes, Ty finally sees something he thought he'd lost forever: forgiveness. Nathan, too, begins a quiet redemption of his own. He leaves Hudson soon after Ty's confession, not out of anger, but acceptance. Before he goes, he stops by Heartland one last time. You told the truth, he says simply. That's more than most men ever do. There's no handshake, no long goodbye, just two men standing in understanding, bound not by the past, but by what they survived. As Nathan drives away, the dust behind his truck rises and fades into the golden light, taking the last shadow of that night with it. Life at Heartland returns to its rhythm, horses running free, laughter echoing through the barn, the smell of fresh hay and morning air filling every corner. Yet, everything feels changed. Ty works with new purpose, teaching Lindy about responsibility, about courage, about owning your mistakes. Amy watches them, her heart swelling with quiet pride. She knows they've crossed something dark together and come out stronger for it. That evening, as the sun dips behind the hills, Ty stands by the fence, watching the horizon. The sky is painted with orange, pink, and gold, the same colors that marked the day he confessed. He smiles faintly, feeling the cool breeze brush against his skin. We made it, he whispers under his breath. Behind him, Amy's voice answers softly, No, Ty, we're still making it. And in that moment, he understands healing isn't a destination, it's a journey. The screen fades to black as soft music rises, a blend of hope and quiet peace. Then, the narrator's voice carries the final line, a message that lingers long after the video ends. The truth may break you, but it also rebuilds you. Because in the end, it's not the past that defines who we are, it's the courage to face it.